Good day to all, and thank you for tuning in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, broadcasting live from the FijiWater.com sponsored studio, where you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And that is the reason that we are here with you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature, it is untouched by man? It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock, where the water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you will save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just ordinary water. This is Earth's finest water at FijiWater.com. And for those of you who continue giving on the give segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution pages of our websites at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com and NewLifeInternationalCDC.com, and those of you who use the QR code or the link provided on Facebook or YouTube, we thank you for your commitment and for your support as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, first of all, we are Facebook Live, we are YouTube Live at Daily Divine Direction, and we want you to continue encouraging your family, friends, coworkers, and colleagues to tune in every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And of course, we invite you to join us for the Sunday sermon at New Life Christian Center, 400 Hillcrest Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 19809. Service begins at 10 a.m. We invite everyone in our area to come and experience a better quality of life. And if you're not in our area, of course, we invite you to tune in at 10:45 a.m. when the Sunday sermon goes live. And we always are here for you in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now you can stay connected with us throughout the week, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year at our internet radio station, WKAP Faith Empowerment Radio, where you can reach us at WKAPfaith.com, where we play music that will encourage you, empower you, and inspire you to become the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. So I'm going to address some communications that came in from our listeners and viewers. And I noticed a lot of you were new, and some of you have heard me talk about goals and setting them. And yesterday I responded to a communication from one of our listeners and viewers who really wanted to know how to chart out the goals. So I went through, the quarterly process of charting out your goals. And I mentioned, how we address SMART and smarter goals. So today I'm going to take everyone through that because we're coming up on the new year and we want to make sure that everyone really maximizes the potential and the opportunities going into next year. So today I'm going to address all of those communications that came in by just using our analogy for smarter goals. I'm going to walk us through those. And for those of you that have heard me do this previously, you don't want to tune out today because I'm going to use some different examples. I'm going to make certain that we all really get a clear understanding of what it means. And, even I will share with you, even for myself, this is something I do every year, is just go back and revisit smarter goals. And so I will start with the S of smarter goals, which is being specific. So you really want to be specific about what you want to accomplish. And yesterday I gave an example about going through every quarter and really bullet pointing 3 personal things you want to accomplish and 3 professional things that you'd like to accomplish each quarter of the coming year. And if you do that every year, you're going to find that you continue to move forward in your success. And I will share with you, what that looks like. It doesn't have to be real complicated. You don't have to make it so complicated it becomes a daunting task just to outline your goals. But you do have to be specific, and it has to be specific to you. Forget about what everyone else is doing. Don't focus on what everyone else is doing. Don't focus on trying to keep up with what everyone else is doing. Focus on you. And so you have to be specific about what you want to accomplish. So I'll give an analogy. And one of the things that I realized, because I was reading something that reminded me of this. So, I've shared with everyone, my wife and I love to work out. We're runners. We do different things to really enhance our health and wellness, because as we mature in age, we all want to really enhance our health and wellness. So I share with everyone that certain months of the year, I go to the gym Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the morning. And then in the afternoon, scheduling permitted, I like to go out and play golf. And so that's working out twice a day, basically. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I run. What I was I do some leg exercises in addition to that. But what I was realizing as I was reading is that Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I really wasn't getting any exercise in the afternoon. I'm just running in the morning. So one of the things that I've set for a goal for the coming year is to make certain, other than doing push-ups in the morning and push-ups at night, that I try to get in a little bit of workout in the morning and in the afternoon throughout the entire year. That's one personal thing I want to work on in the coming year. You have to make it specific. And it has to be specific for you, not for anyone else, just for you. So you really have to decide what you want to accomplish. So I'm saying, I thought about in the old days when playing sports, and we had 2 a day. Sometimes you might have a 3 a day. You work out twice and then you have film sessions. But I'm saying all of that to say we just have to be specific about what we want to accomplish. So that's one of the things that I desire to accomplish in the coming years, to get a workout twice a day, every day let me rephrase that, 6 days a week. Because one day I'm not going to do anything. And so I say all of that to say, that's my Sabbath. So I'm being specific about that. I'm not going to overdo anything. So I'll pick one of those, and usually for me it's been Saturdays after I come back from running. But everything you do, you've got to be intentional about doing it, so you have to be specific. So now what I'm going to try and do in the coming year is make certain that I keep a routine of getting a workout twice a day, even in the months that I normally wouldn't get that in. We have a total gym in our home, which really is a functioning machine for every aspect of your body, lower and upper body. But I don't use it as much as I should. My wife has shown me some exercises that I could do. I just didn't do them. The coming year, that's something else I want to work on. So it's what's specific for me, because the rest of my routine is my routine with regard to work. But that health and wellness component, I really want to work on the coming year. So that's specific for me. And then it has to be measurable. Your goals have to be measurable. You have to measure them. Am I doing what I've set out to do to accomplish what I want to accomplish? So am I really focusing? So that means, and I gave you an example of myself. For me, that means documenting. Then I can look back and see this week, did I get it all in that I intended to get in? You have to make it measurable. And you have to examine, did you accomplish what you set out to accomplish during this week? Did I stop from working long enough to go down and work on the total gym, even if it's for 30 minutes? We just got to make certain that it's all measurable, that we measure that we're accomplishing the goals that we set out to accomplish. And then it has to be action oriented. So you can't just You can't just say you want to do it. You can't just write it down. You have to really take action. You have to really determine that you are going to do what's necessary to meet your specific goals. And you have to work on that. It requires some work. Life requires us to put some work in. We can't just go through life existing and just allowing life to happen to us all. That's not how we want to live this life. That's not how we have a better quality of life. It's not how we maximize our success. It's not how we experience the fullness of God. So we really have to focus on making certain that our goals are action oriented, that we can take the actions necessary to accomplish the goals and to be successful in them. I'm going to continue, pardon me. I'm going to continue down this path, but I do have to take out a little time for one of our sponsors. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will move you into our queue so that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill. At T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So, we talked about our SMARTer goals being specific, measurable, and action-oriented. The next is reasonable. They have to be reasonable goals. We can't just say things because it sounds good. We can't just say it because that's what we want to do, but we know we're not going to do it. Your goals have to be reasonable. So I'll give you another example of that. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and be a university professor. If I set that goal, that's not a reasonable goal. It's not something that I can accomplish unless I were to go back to school, put in all of the hours necessary to achieve that goal, but it's not a reasonable goal for the coming year. So, you can do anything that God has gifted you to do if you have the time to accomplish it. But reasonable goals are something that you can, that's specific, that you can measure, that you can take the action to accomplish in the coming year. See, there's a difference between having goals and having a vision. So your vision should be large enough that you can't, first of all, accomplish it on your own. So you require the power of God and the Holy Spirit to accomplish it for you. Your vision should be that big. Your vision should be large enough. And I know some people are going to perhaps say, well, that doesn't make me feel good about it. But here's the reality. Your vision should be larger than your life. In other words, it should be something that will inspire us. You will live out your vision, and it should be something that will inspire someone else to take up that mantle and carry that on. It should be that big. Because if you only set a vision that's big enough for you to accomplish by the time you're 70, you're not living life to the fullest. And so you have to make certain, and I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but you have to make certain that you understand the difference between goals and vision. Now, once you've done that, you set a reasonable a reasonable goal that every year you can accomplish your goals. Now, if you find that at the end of the year you haven't accomplished everything that you desired to accomplish, that's not a bad thing. If it can be moved over to the next year, move it over to the next year. But at least you've been working towards it to accomplish that goal. Let me give you a simple example of that. You might have a goal to buy a home by the end of the fall of the coming year. That's 9 months from now. But let's say that at the end of fall in our region, let's say the end of September, you haven't saved enough money or prepared yourself to be off for a period of time to adjust to moving into a new home or whatever the case may be. You haven't done everything necessary to purchase a home or build a home by the end of September. So let's say you haven't accomplished that. You can move that to the next year. You can say, okay, I haven't accomplished it by the end of the summer and the end of the fall, and I don't really want to try moving in the winter, so I'm going to set it for the second quarter of the following year. You can move things over to the following year if you find that you haven't accomplished exactly what you want to accomplish. It's still something that can be accomplished. You just, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, you just have to set reasonable goals. So, you also have to make them time bound. That's the reason I tell everyone. Quarterly. Set goals for the quarter, for each quarter of the year. Then by the end of the year, you can review and you can determine, have I accomplished what I've set for my goals? And if there's something that has to be moved over to the new year, then do that. Don't beat yourself up about it, but at least you will have accomplished all of the goals that you've set that were possible to accomplish. They're time bound, but you've got to set time points. You've got to set time points for every goal. Set a time point. Simple example. I encouraged everyone yesterday, get your annual physical. So start making the calls to schedule your annual physical for the first quarter of the year. That's the first thing you can accomplish. If it's not the first quarter of the year, then the second quarter of the year. But that's something that you can accomplish. We have to make certain that all of our goals are time bound. And then we have to make certain that our goals are evaluated. So you have to evaluate what you did right and what you did wrong. How did you miss accomplishing the goal? What did I do right to accomplish the goals that I set all year? What did I do wrong, or what did I miss that didn't allow me to accomplish? You've got to evaluate so that in the next year, you're more aware as time is moving forward and you're more capable of completing the goals. Because we should set goals every year. We don't believe in resolutions. We believe in setting goals and working those goals. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to have success, maximize our success, and experience the fullness of God. And then you have to make them relevant. So you've got to think about this. They have to be relevant to you, to what you're doing. You don't, look, you're not going to set a goal that you're going to go out and go to the gym and shoot jump shots and run layup drills and run rim sprints because you're going to play in the NBA if you know that at age whatever you're not going to play in the NBA. That's not relevant to you. Going to the gym now, you might get some exercise, and for whoever likes to play basketball, you may say, well, I'm getting some exercise, but it can't be I'm going to exercise to play in the NBA when you never played college basketball. In other words, it's got to be relevant. It's got to be relevant to our own lives. And we have to constantly review, is it relevant what I'm doing? And then you've got to say, with goals, you've got to be consistent with them. You've got to be consistent with your goals. So you want to review, am I being consistent every single day? Am I doing every single day? And this is part of what I will say. With goals, you have to do a SWOT analysis. continuously. Every month, pardon me, every month, every quarter, you have to do a SWOT analysis. You have to really decide for yourself, what are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. You have to do that analysis every month, every quarter. And I know some of you out there sitting there right now saying, Pastor, that's a lot of work. Life is a lot of work. Living life to the fullest is a lot of work. Maximizing your success is a lot of work. Entering into the fullness of God is a lot of work. It doesn't happen by osmosis. We have to put the work in. We have to ask ourselves, do my habits line up with my goals? In other words, do your habits line up with what you want to accomplish? You know, these are things that we have to ask ourselves continuously. The Bible says, let a man or woman, mankind, examine himself. You have to be willing to examine yourself. Am I putting the work in to be better? Because one thing, as I'm reading, I'm reminded, there's an old adage that says, you're either going to get better or you're going to get worse, because you're never going to stay the same. And one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do is make certain that your habits line up with your goals. Look, and if you don't have good habits, so let me take you down this path. If you don't have good habits now, that can be one of your goals, that you're going to start developing, creating good habits. You're going to break, you know, there was a song out years ago that said, break every chain. Everyone took that to go through this whole holy experience, but did it really change anything? Nice song, but did we really break the chains? Did we really, you know what breaking chains really means? It means eliminating bad habits. You know, we took it to mean something else, but that's what it really means. When you're held bondage by bad habits, you're in chains with bad habits. So we have to break those. We have to break those chains by creating good habits, doing completely opposite of what we've always done. Because bad habits are poor habits. Poor habits lead to poverty. I'm not talking about being born in poverty. I'm not talking about, you know, having to deal with that generational curse. I'm talking about creating habits that will result in financial instability, result in poverty, because of the things we do. We've got to create good habits. We've got to make certain that we are developing habits that line up with what we want to accomplish. So, examples. One of the things many of you have heard me say, and for all of our listeners and viewers, I'm going to encourage you to do the same thing. I talk a lot about trying to get enough sleep at night. And the reason I'm going to let you in my world, our world, for a moment. So my wife has always been someone who talked about getting enough rest. But consequently, you know, being in investment banking and my whole time in the corporate world, I never got enough sleep. And I know that now. I didn't realize that then because, once again, society teaches you to do certain things, and when you're working to do deals or close deals out on a Monday, merger Monday, or you're working to do what society has trained your brain to do. So wasn't getting enough sleep because we're working long hours. But I realize now I can still work long hours because you do other things when you work long hours. Also, you still leave and you go out with like other people go out. You still hang out. You still, you don't get enough sleep. But then as you mature, you realize you've got to make some changes. So I went from getting I started getting 2 hours more a night, which was fine. That worked for me as I got a little older. But then my wife said to me, okay, you've got to start thinking differently about how much rest you need. So, I started doing some reading and some research and looking at the cognitive aspect and what rest does for your mind, your brain cells, your brain power. But she would always say to me, you got to try and get at least 8 hours of sleep. So I try to get 8 hours of sleep. And as the years have gone by, that's become a habit for me now, that my goal every night is to try and get 8 hours sleep. Does it happen every night? No, there are nights I get 7.5, but there are also some nights when I get 9. And the point I'm trying to make is that we all have to develop better habits. The better habit for me is to start getting, trying to get at least 8 hours of sleep a night, which I'm on average, I've been tracking it, and I wear a tracker on my wrist at night, and I've been tracking it, and I'm averaging 8 hours of sleep, actually 8:05 a night, on average. So that's a good place to be. Now, there may come a point in time when I may be able to increase that, develop a better habit, increase it to maybe, instead of 8:05, which I thought was interesting, but 8:05, maybe I'll get to 8:30, which would be even better. Will do my body better. It'll allow my body to rest and rejuvenate. And it's good for the mind. That's a better habit. Eating habits. We've got every first Thursday of the month, with us, a monthly contributor like Rebecca Bouva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist, is with us every Thursday to share with us health and wellness tips. Information that will allow us to improve our health and wellness, our nutritional experience. We can really make some progress if we begin developing some better habits. And so I want to encourage everyone, let's make it one of our goals to develop habits, better habits that are going to enhance our health and wellness and allow us to accomplish our goals. Now, I'm sure everyone knows by now I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker, I don't do any drugs, no recreational types of mind-altering things. I'm drinking plenty of water every day. I try to get 50% of my body weight in water every day, but at least 64 fluid ounces. Those are habits we can develop that will enhance our health and wellness. We can all work on that. And in the coming year, we're going to spend some more time on that, because we're going to do another promotion with Rebecca, and we're going to bring some of you on to really talk about the experience that you have once a month with your health and wellness as we go through that routine. So let's become better versions of ourselves. And let's make certain that we start with smarter goals. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in any of those areas, stop in at their retail stores. They have everything that a man could possibly need. And The White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York. So if you're in New York, stop in at the retail store. They have everything that anyone could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. And if you're not in New York, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. You can reach Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. And right now, if you order from Charles Tyrwhitt, you can receive 3 high-quality cotton shirts for $99 at ctshirts.com for all of us men, and The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. And this segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Porsche of America, PorscheAmerica.com. If you're in the market for a new automobile, one of the finest high-performance automobiles ever manufactured, go to PorscheAmerica.com. You can virtually build out any Porsche that you might desire to own, and if you're in our area, go to PorscheDelaware.com. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. We are in the Christmas season. We are wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Remember, we're Facebook Live, YouTube Live at Daily Divine Direction. And we want you to stay connected with us through our internet radio station,